Are you having a hard time getting the price that you feel like you deserve for the products and the services that you provide? I mean, do you feel like you're being overworked and underpaid? I mean, what? Are you even having a hard time getting your kids to get up out the bed and take the garbage out during the course of the day? Well, listen, in today's video, I'm going to show you how to negotiate like a billionaire and have the backbone of a billionaire where you'll never feel shorted again another day in your life. Listen, let's look at it this way. Here's the major problem with people and why people settle and why people can't get, I mean, absolutely can't get what they honestly deserve, and why people settle for things so much less than what their purpose is in life, and why they let people basically run them over. So let's talk about it. So let's imagine that you're driving in a negotiating car. All right. Most people, the thing about negotiating is that most people just really, really hate to hear the word no. So what people will do is they'll try to avoid that, with everything inside of it. The problem is that they don't realize that in negotiating, the way billionaires negotiate is that billionaires want to get to no faster than they want to get to yes. And let me show you why. Let me show you how the process goes. All right. So this is the way billionaires drive their negotiating car. They take their car and they start driving up the street. All right. So imagine, just take a sheet of paper out and just imagine that you're in a car, driving your own little car, and start down at the bottom of the paper because you're going to ride up. Okay. So let's say that you're driving your negotiating car. Okay. And you're getting up and you see the intersection of no. All right. Now it's an intersection, right? And it has a real big fat stop sign. Stop! What? At the intersection of no. But you say, no, 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 no. I'm going to ride straight through this intersection. Why? Because I hate the word. What? I hate the word no. Whatever you do, don't tell me no. And ride straight through that intersection. Now, what do I mean? What am I talking about? I'm talking about no means that when you're in the middle of a negotiation and you're talking to somebody, the very first things everybody should discuss is what you don't want and what you're not going to put up with. Listen to me good. Imagine how many people would be married today if when they started driving a car, they negotiating car for their new spouse, if they said, you know what, let's pull up right here, honey. They said, where's that? At the intersection of no. What do you mean? I mean, let's start talking to each other about what we don't like, so that we won't go on in a pretentious manner and trying to get to yes, because yes ain't gonna mean nothing if we haven't stopped at the no intersection first. Okay. So why is that so important? It's important because you need to get that stress off of you. You need to tell a person, listen, I don't appreciate this and I don't appreciate that. And not only that, that's against my standards, that's against my values. And I can't do that in good conscience and feel good about the way I'm living. I'm gonna have a lot of high blood pressure. I'm having stuff all up my chest. I can't perform like that. So the answer to that is no, I can't do that. And then say, okay, and can you tell me what it is that you don't like? So your counterpart on the other side, they tell you, well, some things about the situation I don't like either. So, and you listen to them and you hear them out. And you know what happens? Both of you start getting your nose out. Okay. That way you won't have a nosebleed. All right. No, not a nosebleed. I'm talking about you won't be bleeding from a lack of nose because you did what? You both discussed the matter intelligently. Now listen, just because you're at the intersection of no, that doesn't mean everybody start going off on each other. You see, billionaires are cool, calm people. So what happens with billionaires is that they tell you, hey, this is what my expectation of you is, and this is what I'm going to give you. Now let's talk about that. Do you agree with this? And you can say, no, I don't agree with that. They say, okay. Do you agree with this? No, I don't agree with that. They say, okay. They say, well, let me tell you what I don't agree with. And then you know what happens? By the time you leave the intersection of no, now you can start moving up towards the next intersection going towards yes, but you got a solid agreement now because you said that all the stuff that we ain't gonna do, we said we can still proceed because the things that we ain't gonna do is not gonna stop us this procedure or this negotiation. So now the negotiation has what? An amazing foundation. All right, so you stopped at the intersection of no. So now you know what you don't want. Your counterpart knows what they don't want. You decided that the things that you both don't like, it's okay. We can still get proceeding. Those things are not going to stop the deal. You made some concessions along the lines of whatever it is that you need to do right there, and now you can move on up. All right. So now you get back in your car and you say, okay, great. Now let's keep on riding, and you pull on off from that intersection because you hated no, but now you at first you hated no, but now you realize, wow, that was the best place I could have possibly stopped. So now you go past the intersection of no, and you keep on going. So you're driving your car and you're moving up. You're still trying to get to yes, but there's a problem because there's another intersection that you need to stop at before you get to yes. That intersection is called what? That's Right Boulevard. You mean, what do you mean by that, Ricky? You see, after you get past the intersection of no, you have to get to the next intersection. And that intersection is you all have to agree with something. But what? You have to agree with what? What's right. Now, did you hear what I said? You don't have to agree with who's right. You have to agree with what's right. So you have to stop at that intersection. Why? Because if you don't agree what's right, and the person you're negotiating with don't agree with the principle of something that is right, then even if you rush on to the next intersection, which is yes, eventually going to get there, but if you rush on there and you both don't agree with what's right, you already talked about what's wrong. And y'all all, and you got an agreement about what's wrong and what you ain't going to do. Okay, so what are you going to do? All right, so you got to do what? What's right? You hear what I'm saying? So people who make very little money are always in a hurry to get to yes. They go straight through the intersection of no, and then they go straight past the intersection of that's right. But they don't understand that you got to stop there too. Why? Because once you get here, now you both can discuss, okay, so what's right? Because the reason people argue so much and the reason people can't get along with each other is because they don't agree about what's right. Okay? We have all talked about what's wrong. Now we got to talk about what's right. We got rid of what's wrong at what? At the no intersection. So now we got to agree with what's right at the what? The that's right intersection. So you, sales brother, sales sister, you, marketer, you, mother, you, father, you, son, you, daughter, you who are in the middle of relationships and having social encounters and want to thrive, I should say. And instead of striving, you want to thrive. And instead of surviving, you want to be successful. And instead of just getting bits and pieces and crumbs of life, you want to have the best life possible. Okay, listen to me. Once you get to this intersection of that's right, now you all can leave here and now you're both agreed that this thing that we're discussing, that the actions that we're about to take next are the right things to do. Once you believe it and the person that you're dealing with believes it, now you can move on to the next intersection. What's that intersection? The intersection of yes. Why? Because now you're driven from that's right. And now you both agree that, hey, what we're doing is right. You know what? The Bible says, blessed is the man who condemneth not himself in that thing which he alloweth. In other words, it's hard to do something full steam ahead when your conscience is telling you what? This is not right. All right. But when your conscience is telling you this is right, then you have the strength, the creative energy, the innovative vitality to do that thing with all of your might, with all of your purpose, with all of your heart, and you're able to do it really well too. And that's why billionaires are billionaires because when they decide that something is right, they say, this is the right thing to do. I'm deciding I'm going to do. I'm talking about righteous billionaires, of course. Okay, all right. So I'm saying when a billionaire, the reason that they were able to create so much money is because they don't spend their time trying to get to yes first because they understand that that's an accident waiting to happen. So as soon as you talk to a billionaire is always transparent with you right from the beginning, letting you know what his expectation is and what his commitment is, or what her expectation is and what her commitment is. That's the way they are. They don't try to hide behind things. And what it opens up an amazing amount of freedom. Why? Because they stopped at no, you had great conversations. They stopped at that's right, had even better conversations. And then finally, now you can get back in your car and you can ride. And now you can, see, now you're cruising. See, because getting a yes now, you're not in such a hurry no more. Now you're not going to get no speeding tickets on the way. Why? Because you're not frantic anymore. Because no slowed you down. That's right inspired you. Did you hear what I said? The intersection of no, it slowed you down. And then when you got to that right, that's right, it inspired you. Because now you have energy. Why? Because you're like, man, that's right. So now you're not frantic anymore. Now you're performing like Proverbs 21:5, which says the thoughts of the diligent tend only to plenteousness. Because now you're like, you know what? Now everything on this side is yes. But the yes is real now. How many times somebody told you yes? They didn't mean it. Their body language didn't mean it. That they didn't really mean it. It's like Luffy said, I told my girl bye-bye, but I really didn't mean it. You know what he said? He said, I met somebody new, so fine. He said, but I really didn't mean it. See, yes don't mean nothing when a person doesn't really mean it. And billionaires are like, listen, I don't have time to waste. And you know what? I got purpose and I want to deal with purposeful people. So as you go through the rest of your day to day, remember, stop at the intersection of no. Then go on up and stop at the intersection of that's right. And then finally, ride towards the intersection of yes. And then your yes will be a blessed yes. And you'll have the best because you have a blessed yes. All right. It's been a plum pleasing pleasure as well as a privilege. I love you all. Ain't nothing you can do about that. And remember that stellar is as stellar dust. Now go on out with some billionaire backbone. Talk to you soon.